Welcome to Clued in Mystery. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Brooke, and we both love mystery.
Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Sarah. Today we have the first interview episode of this season.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to this interview because we've got two people that we're going to be speaking with. Anna Elliott and Charles Veley are a father daughter writing team who prove that crime solving creativity runs in the family. Charles, with his Sherlock Holmes obsession, laid the groundwork for their first collaborative caper, the Sherlock and Lucy series. Anna joined the investigation from Book 3, bringing her flair for historical detail and strong female characters. Together, they've reimagined Baker Street's famous resident while introducing readers to the delightful Lucy James, proving that sometimes two heads are better than one when it comes to solving literary puzzles.
Well, welcome, Charles and Anna. We are so excited to be speaking with you today. Last week, we released an episode where we talked about various books and shows that carry on the Sherlock story and reimagine it. And so we're so pleased to be able to speak with you guys who are actually creating some of those stories. So, first of all, without giving too much away, please introduce the characters in your series and share how you've reimagined the world of Sherlock Holmes through their eyes.
Sure. Well, we've got all the characters that are in the original, the Conan Doyle original, the major characters. There's Watson narrates many chapters in our shared books. In the original book, he narrated the whole book in the first two books. But then when Anna came in, she narrated the most important character. New character who is the daughter that Sherlock discovers that he has in the first book. And then suddenly life is very different for Sherlock, although Sherlock is pretty much making it be the same. But then Anna can talk about the other characters that go along with Lucy, who's Sherlock and Lucy.
Yeah, so I think like my dad was saying, we've tried to stick pretty closely to the original Sir Arthur Conan Doyle canon, to Holmes and Watson, and they live at 221 B Baker Street. And there's other authors out there, I'm sure, that sort of do vary it a bit more, but for us it was important to really be pretty grounded in the canon. And we do introduce other characters, like my dad was saying. The character that I write is Lucy James. She's Sherlock Holmes's daughter that he only discovers when she's already an adult, a young woman. And then more characters have just sort of joined organically along the way. We've got Lucy's husband, whom she meets in the first book that I co-authored with my dad, called Remember, Remember. They meet in that book, and then their whole sort of love story plays out over the next couple of books, and there's sort of an arc of them getting married, and then her husband has a younger sister, and she and one of the Baker Street irregulars that my dad not invented, but I guess he's invented. He's not an official Baker Street irregular, but he's a character that we created. These two, Becky and Flynn, are their children who act as sort of the our version of the Baker Street irregulars, and they're a lot of fun to write as well. We both really enjoy them quite a bit. So yeah, and then
They have relationships that, Flynn is about a year or so older than Becky, and Becky's a tomboy, and then Flynn grew up on the streets, and Becky grew up the daughter of a woman who left, basically, and a father who's absolutely no good, raised by her brother, Jack, who is a really good heart, soul policeman. Also, he's pretty good at the daring do stuff. He's tall, dark, and handsome, and he's a great hero. No wonder Lucy loves him.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's our core cast of characters, and then from time to time we'll bring in somebody else from the canon. We brought in Tobias Gregson, who is he's briefly mentioned as one of the Scotland Yard inspectors in Which
Besides
story?
Lestrade.
Yeah, besides Lestrade, we do often bring in Lestrade.
We also
but
bring in Mycroft a lot.
Mycroft a lot.
Mycroft's the British government, and
Yeah.
if you've got a big case that something bad might happen, that it's going to have bad consequences, Mycroft better know about it, and he's going to be able to help us.
Yeah, Mycroft is a lot of fun to write. And Lestrade is pretty close, I would say, to the
Yeah.
canon. Gregson was fun because he's really only mentioned in, is it the Sign of Four? Is that the one
I
that's,
think that's the one.
that's the one where he and Lestrade are,
Yeah.
or is it?
Yeah,
No,
Study and Scarlet.
Study and Scarlet. That's right.
Yeah.
We're getting our
Yeah.
postcards mixed up. Yeah, but he and Lestrade kind of have a rivalry. So he's not a particularly well developed character, but we did a bit more with him.
Yeah.
And sent him on his own sort of quest for love and fulfillment, right? And
Yeah.
that was really fun. We had a couple of books where he had a bit of an arc with
Yes.
the
Oh,
murder suspect of one in one of
Yes,
the
yes.
stories and stuff. So
The most recent one we've done, his arc has come to a very happy end, and he and his wife are about to get on a call it a cruise ship headed for India, I think. And it's called The Adventure of the Time Machine, and that one, bad things could happen. That could not end very well unless the Baker Street gang can save them.
yeah,
And guess what?
they do.
They
We do take a few liberties. The Pinkerton's Detective Agency, which was a real life detective agency.
It's in the Red Circle in the Valley of Fear.
Yeah, occasionally
There's a Pinkerton.
there's a Pinkerton, and we took one of them and actually made her a woman who was disguised as a man when Sherlock Holmes first met her.
Which was a thing.
There were female Pinkerton agents.
That.
They really did do that. So we had a lot of fun with her character as well.
Yeah.
So we have sort of occasionally taken liberties with a very minor character from the Doyle canon and made it our own and had fun with it. But as far as the core canon, we try to be very respectful and stick to Conan Doyle's version of them all.
Holmes never changes. There's
Yeah.
couple of parts, couple of times when it looks like he might be even dead, but he's always gonna win. He's always gonna be the man.
Yeah.
And he's a good dad.
Yep. Yeah. He and Lucy have a good relationship. It's fun. It's fun to watch him. I guess our version is maybe a little softer because he has been softened by the influence of having a daughter and now it's sort of a family that they've created here. But
his Lucy's mother, the sweetheart, we meet her in the first book also, and she's a wonderful character. And she comes back in a couple other the adventures.
Yeah,
goes to Egypt with him.
That was one of my favorites to write.
So, Charles, you began this series on your own.
Yes.
Beyond the lovely parallel of a father daughter partnership that's reflected in your stories, what led to Anna joining you as co author?
Well, I had one book and I put it up on Amazon just because I used to write mysteries also, and then I became a lawyer and a corporate exec, and everything creative had to be, subordinate to raising a family and getting kids through school and all that. But I still wanted to do it, so I wanted to do something that could be a fun hobby, and I always loved Sherlock. Read the canon by myself as a kid. In college, I even read the whole series. I did an actual paper on the detective story in college. And then, I'm getting towards the end of the corporate career, and I've got time to do stuff a little bit and what to do. So I picked Sherlock Holmes because I always loved him, and I kind of internalized that voice from reading him so much. So we tried that the first one and had the idea of a daughter. And Anna was writing for Simon and Schuster at the time, right? She's a bunch of historical novels that are also wonderful. She was doing that. So, hey, Dad, how are you doing? Doing anything besides work? Yeah, I'm even thinking of doing a book. Oh, what's it gonna? Oh, Sherlock Holmes. That's very nice. What about it? Oh, there's going to be a daughter in there. Oh, really? And so I remember she even suggested the first moment that we see it. Why don't you have her in an opera singing? Because she's going to be an actress. She should be in an opera. So that kind of had she's in the Gilbert and Sullivan version of the Mikado that was in fact playing in 1895 at the time that we were writing this. So that was good, and it went up, and people liked it. I didn't have a lot of money for publicity or anything, but got enough reviews on its own that one day I get a Twitter message from Thomas and Mercer, which is a publishing house that publishes Ian Fleming and a whole lot of other mysteries. They specialize in mysteries. They're a subsidiary of Amazon. And they said, "Hey, we like your book. We'd like to buy it. And would you be open to that?" And so I talked it over with Anna, and she said, "Yeah, why not? I mean, what do you have to lose? Let them do it, and then you can get on to writing the next one." So I got on to writing the next one. They liked that too, but that one has Lucy in it as well. And then you kind of realize your own limitations because I'm still working at the time. And I'm thinking, I'm not doing Lucy enough justice. She really should be more of a feature in this whole series. Who could possibly, who do I know anybody who could possibly do? And, yeah, we had a conversation in your kitchen, I think. And so she thought about it, and because this means she's got to focus on that instead of the other stuff she's doing, because you look up Annal and Elliott, and you'll see a lot of other things that she's doing. And so she said yes. And the next thing I know, I have um, a manuscript from her.
Yeah, we were gonna write. I think the way we originally thought of it was I was gonna do a couple of short stories with
Yeah.
Lucy, and I don't do short very well, though. It wound up it being a novel,
Yeah.
like being a novel, and the rest is kind of history. Yeah, we realized we worked really well as a team, and
Yeah.
didn't want to stop. I had more stories to tell, so
Yep.
yeah, it just took off from there.
That's great.
But she had it done. She had the beginning and middle and the end.
Yeah, and then what have we done, like 40 some
Yeah,
stories in the series?
well, actually, 36. There are 40 because we collected a lot of them into separate volumes. Lucy gets engaged to Jack. Jack gets wounded at the end of the Jubilee problem, and then he recovers, but other bad things happen. But eventually, several books later, they get married, and
Yeah.
so a lovely ceremony.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it's all come to pass, basically. Yeah.
Well, that's just great. Are there any other Sherlock Holmes reimaginings that have inspired your work?
Yes, yes, indeed.
Definitely the Jeremy Brett series. Yeah.
We love Jeremy Brett. We watched it.
When I was growing up.
So we've seen all of those. At Christmas time, we still play the Blue Carbuncle.
That's definitely our favorite. I think that's the most faithful to the canon. We try to steer clear of reading any other books because you don't want.
Yeah, you find out that I've used.
Yeah, exactly. There's only so many ideas, so we don't read any others.
We look at them because they come in and we see the summaries and so forth, and so we'll know. And there are a whole lot of really, really good writers doing this stuff. There's Bonnie McBird. There's
Anthony Horowitz. Yeah.
He may be the most successful overall mystery writer other than Agatha Christie. He's just fantastic, and he wrote one that kind of gave me the idea that I could do this sort of thing too, which was it's called The House of Silk, and it's beautifully written. It's in the voice of Watson. It's poignant. Watson is older, and and it's a great story with a lot of suspense and a lot of thumb cliffhanger moments, but it's darker. And I thought, well, if I did something like this, we'd try to be having the suspense and wonderful adventure, but I'm not going to be this dark. And so that's kind of the vibe that we keep going with. So, I read this whole thing everything to Anna back when she was a kid, and the things that we do, I want to be able to read to grandchildren without, you know,
Yeah, we don't want
embarrassed
to
or
too
scared
dark
or making them feel worried that the world won't come out all right.
yeah.
In addition to this collaborative series, you both write independently. Could you tell us a little bit about your individual projects and how they differ from, or maybe they complement, your Sherlock Holmes and Lucy James books?
Well, back before I started writing with my dad, I had a series that was Jane Austen inspired. I have a 4 or 5 books in that series that are all kind of retellings or reimagining of Jane Austen, or taking a minor character from a Jane Austen story and developing them a bit more. But I haven't written anything like that since starting to work with my dad. We did do my dad's showing you the cover. As we were working on the Sherlock and Lucy's, we mentioned the characters of Becky and Flynn, who are the Baker Street Irregulars. We kept getting fan mail saying, "Are you going to continue the series to when they're grown up?" And they have this great chemistry as kids, and what would happen if they grew up and married each other? And we didn't. You don't really want to progress the main series to that point because then all of your other characters are 20 years older, and it's just it's not the same. It's the same thing. But I said, well, when they're grown up, it's going to be about World War I era. That could be a really fun backdrop for them as adults. So I did do five,
But
five books in a spin-off series of Becky and Flynn as adults solving mysteries during World War I. They're over in France. Flynn is in the army. They're over in France fighting German spies and solving mysteries over there. Becky grows up to be a surgeon, battlefield surgeon with the Red Cross hospitals, and Sherlock Holmes makes the occasional appearance, but it's mostly Becky and Flynn. And you get a few cameos from our first series. That's really fun because like Jack and Lucy that we were talking about, they're a young married couple in our series, but then as in Becky and Flynn, they're a bit older. They have children now, so it's fun to give them sort of a happy ending in that way, and get just a peek of where their lives wind up.
those are all Anna.
Yeah, those were just me.
I was the humble editor.
We used to write a bit more of a tag team. Like one of
Yeah.
us would start a series and then the other one, or a story, and then the other one would write their part. So I had some downtime while I was waiting for chapters from my dad. And I was like, well, I want to be writing something. So that's where the Becky and Flynn came out. I would write those during the downtime when I was waiting for my dad to get something to me. But our most recent series, we've kind of changed the way that we work a little bit now. We just do it chapter by chapter. Yeah, this series we've we write more quickly and constantly sending things back and forth. So I don't have the downtime anymore to write anything just independently, which is fine. I'm happy. We're happy and busy where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did, as I said, back in the day, I went from teaching college to being a full-time writer to being a lawyer to being a corporate um, exec to being a corporate real estate exec. So long checkered career, but during the first books, I go back and look at them, and they're pretty good, but there's nothing there that I want to recreate. However, I did do some other books in the Sherlock Holmes vein, which are canonical books that could have appeared, could be like Conan Doyle. There's a whole series, and it's a wonderful project. The estate of Conan Doyle has literally his home that he built for his wife who had, I think, tuberculosis, something,
No.
some disease in the respiratory tract that made her find it very difficult to live in London. So she was in Switzerland trying to get well, and Conan Doyle found this place in the south of London, which somebody told him this is really good for people trying to recuperate from respiratory diseases. So he immediately built this estate, beautiful, beautiful building. And of course, and she moved, and they had another 6 or 8 more years, which was 6 or 8 more years than they thought she was going to have. So that was a wonderful thing. After Conan Doyle died, it kind of fell into disrepair, but has since been taken up by a school for special needs kids, which has its own sources of funding, but a group called MX Publishing thought it would be good to sell new Sherlock Holmes adventures and give all the royalties to this school. And so that's their project. If you look up MX Publishing, you'll see that's the main thing that they do. But they reached out to me and said, would I do something? And I think I've done eight of adventures that are in one edition after another. And so that's been fun. But they're short stories, and it's nothing like the larger efforts that we have.
Yeah. Well, that's got to be extremely rewarding. That seems like a really wonderful project.
It is, and Anna's. I say I do that. I did most of it, but then Anna will take a look and add
Very
things here and
little,
there.
really. There. So the deal with the Amex Publishing, because it's the Conan Doyle estate, it's only you can only use narrators and main characters that are in the canon. So you can't, for example, use Lucy James because she's not,
Yep.
a Sherlock Holmes character. So I can't write any of the point of views. It's all narrated by Watson. So my dad writes those, and
Yep.
yeah, he does a great job with it. I don't think I've ever changed much more than a word or two here and there.
She's adding good stuff there.
Yeah, but just take a look after it's done is. But yeah, that was fun. We got what was the art book that
Yeah, they hired some painters and illustrators to illustrate the stories, and they picked ours as the first one to do, which
yeah.
was kind
Oh,
of nice.
wow.
Yeah, and then like auctioned them off for
Yeah,
for the charity. It was neat. So
yeah.
yeah.
I think they've raised $250,000 for this school just for those books.
Yeah.
So and there's a whole lot of There's a whole lot of other writers that have contributed to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a whole lot of people writing Sherlock Holmes stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is one of the reasons why we kind of gravitated to the Homefront Sleuth series, because we enjoy that too. But there's a wider audience for it, and it's a less crowded field, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like you guys are a great team.
Aw. Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we live
10 minutes.
away from each other.
Well, this has been so fun to speak with you, Charles and Anna. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure, thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much. And listeners, to learn more about Charles and Anna and their series, you can visit sherlockandlucy.com. The two of you also have a brand new release as of September 5th, and it's The Harvest Festival Murders, a Homefront Sleuth's Mystery. So go out and pick up a copy of that. And then they're also on Facebook and Instagram under Sherlock and Lucy. So thank you for joining us today on Clued in Mystery, listeners. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Sarah, and we both love mystery. Clued in Mystery is written and produced by Brooke Peterson and Sarah M. Stephen. Music is by Shane Ivers. If you liked what you heard, please consider telling a friend, leaving a review, or subscribing with your favorite podcast listening app. Visit our website to sign up for our newsletter, The Clued In Chronicle, and get mystery news, podcast updates, and bonus episodes. We're on social media at Clued In Mystery.